Chances are there's been a time where you really liked a girl and you wanted to approach her, but you just could not work up the confidence to actually do it. And then later that night or that day, you were sat there saying to yourself, oh, what if I would have approached her? Oh, what if she would have been into me? Maybe she would have been my girlfriend one day. And bro, I know from firsthand experience that feeling fucking sucks when you don't work up the courage to talk to her and then you're hit with that feeling of regret. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about a time when this happened to me, what I learned from it, and how I've became the guy who can actually confidently approach a girl and not have that feeling of regret. So we're gonna go back to when I was in 8th grade. I remember there was this one girl who had just moved into my town. She moved from a few states over, and every single guy was talking about this girl. Every dude had a huge crush on her. And I remember I would literally go home after school thinking about this girl, saying, oh, I want to make her my girlfriend one day. Oh, I really want to go talk to her. And she was 100% also giving me some signs that she liked me. But the craziest thing is, weeks went by, months went by, and I never worked up the courage to talk to her. And then eventually summer came, so my opportunity had gone. Then summer passes, and now it's my freshman year of high school. And I remember I had this girl again in one of my classes, and our freshman year homecoming was coming up. So I was saying oh yes, this is the perfect opportunity. This is the perfect time to ask her. I'm finally gonna do it. So I finally work up the courage to ask her out. And then guess what? I figure out that one of my other teammates on my football team had already asked her out to the dance. So I just completely missed my opportunity to ask her out. And then I remember after going through all of this, just feeling like complete shit. Why did I wait so long to ask her out, and why did I put it off so much? Because now I was just left in a spot where I had literally no chance to get her. So with all that being said, here are a few key lessons I learned from this experience, so you don't have to keep going through this. So number one, regret is always worse than rejection. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, bro, I've approached a lot of women. I've gone on a lot of dates. I've had a lot of good experiences, but also with that, I've had a lot of bad experiences. I've had a lot of rejections. And guess what? From going through all these rejections, I've learned that it actually doesn't hurt that bad. When you get rejected by a girl, of course, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel great. It kind of hurts your soul. You're like, damn, I wasn't enough for this girl. But getting rejected still feels a million times better than not even trying, okay? And what's so crazy to me is there's so many guys who will hit me up and they'll say, Frank, I'm struggling with my dating life and I don't know why. How do I get a girlfriend? And my first question will always be, okay, well, how many girls have you actually asked out in the last month or two? And they'll say, oh, I've approached 3 women. And it's bro, what? Or sometimes they'll even say, I've approached 0 women. Bro, how do you expect to get a girlfriend when you've approached 0 women? That does not make any sense. So you have to understand that you have to be willing to go through rejection, okay? Because if you're not willing to lower your ego a bit and just deal with it, you'll never get to where you want to be, okay? And that's all it is. At the end of the day, I think a lot of guys who are scared of getting rejected just have big egos. Oh, I don't want to fail. I don't want to get rejected. I'm too good for that. What do you mean you're too good for it, bro? Every single man who has become great at anything in life has had to deal with a level of failure, of rejection. I mean, Kobe Bryant missed a lot of jump shots. Tony Hawk has failed skateboarding tricks, okay? Every single guy who's good at everything has failed before. So you got to stop with having this ego of, I'm too good for rejection. I don't want to get rejected. Bullshit, bro. You're gonna fail at things, you're gonna screw up, but if you're so scared of failing that you never even try, then you will never make any progress. And I even look back at those times where I got rejected, but at least I tried. It's when you get rejected by a girl, you see a girl at the mall and you walk up to her and you talk to her and she rejects you, you can at least say, well, hey, I have the confidence to put myself out there. And that actually feels pretty good. That feels a lot better than getting rejected. So always realize that regret is worse than rejection, and those times where you don't even try, it's always going to hit a lot harder than when you actually fail and get rejected. Number 2, you got to stop getting so heavily invested in a girl before she shows interest in you. So when I think back to this time when, I didn't approach this one girl who I had a huge crush on, One of the reasons why it was so hard for me to approach her was because I was so heavily invested, right? I was saying to myself, like, oh yeah, she's so great, she's so amazing, and I don't want to get rejected by her. But why are you putting this random girl who hasn't even shown interest in you up on this pedestal? And it pisses me off so much because you see all these bullshit, Disney cartoon movies that say, show the nerdy guy who obsesses over the girl, and then she finally, dumps her jock boyfriend and then starts dating him, and then they fall in love forever. But that shit does not work in real life, okay? When you obsess over a girl, all that actually does is just positions you lower. It just positions you as a guy who's a simp, right? Because a guy who's high status, a guy who has standards for himself, a guy who sees himself as high value, he's not going to simp over a girl before she shows that she likes him. He's going to go approach the girl, and if she shows interest in him, then yeah, he'll start, taking her a bit seriously. But he doesn't say, oh my gosh, she's so amazing, she's so great, before he even approaches her. No, he lets her earn that from him. And that's what you have to do. You have to let her earn respect from you. You have to let her earn attraction from you. Yeah, she might be attractive, she might be hot, she might be good looking, but there's a lot of girls who are hot who also aren't great partners. There's a lot of girls who are great looking, but who are shitty people, okay? So stop putting her up on a pedestal just because she's good looking, and actually let her win you over with her character traits. Because think about it, which version of you is going to be more confident with approaching the girl? The version of you who's been daydreaming about her, who's been thinking about her, saying, oh, she's so amazing. No, that version of you isn't going to approach her because you've built this perfect fantasy in your head, and then if she rejects you, that fantasy is just crumbled. It's completely gone. Or is the version of you who just sees things for how they are and approaches her and doesn't place her on a pedestal, that version of you will actually have success. So stop putting her up on a pedestal and let her earn that from you. Now, the third tip, and this is a bit of a funny one, is be the guy who she's taking out, not the guy who she's Snapchatting. So real quick, there was this other time I was on a date with a girl. This was back right after my senior year of high school, going into my freshman year of college. I was out on a date with this one girl, and she was basically showing me how there was this one guy who he had been Snapchatting her, they had a 64-day Snapchat streak. So stupid. Why would you have a Snapchat streak with a girl? Really dumb. But he had a 64-day Snapchat streak with this girl, right? Oh, wow, yeah, she's so into you, bro. But guess what? She was on a date with me. She was out with me. While this other guy was simping over her, Snapchatting her, had a freaking 64-day Snapchat streak with her. Oh, yeah, so amazing. Guess what? I just met this girl literally 3 days ago, and I was already on a date with her, okay? So you got some guys who are taking weeks to get to know a girl, taking months to get to know her, and you got me who just, texted this girl, DM'd her on Instagram 3 days ago, and I'm on a date with her, okay? So that just shows you that, you don't have to take forever to get to know this girl. And there's this one guy, oh my God. If you follow me on TikTok, there's this one guy who will comment under all of my videos saying, oh, actually, you should be friends with a girl first. Actually, you should take your time to get to know her because she's going to trust you more. But this guy, he's literally out of shape. I don't think he has a girlfriend. He's never posted, a video with a girl or a picture with a girl or anything. He posts videos, simping over celebrity girls. So it's okay, clearly that advice is not working for you, so why should literally any guy take your advice? And that's how a lot of guys who give that advice of oh, just be your friend first, oh, just take your time to get to know her. That's how a lot of those guys are, okay? They don't actually have results. They're just completely clueless and stupid, okay? Because if you have any sort of success with women, okay, you know that being her friend first, that doesn't work, okay? That literally gets you put in the friend zone. Because why? Because you're positioning yourself as her friend. Okay, that's stupid. Why would you do that? Why would you spend weeks texting this girl, being her friend, being all nice, when you can just be more than friends, when you can just take her out on a date? Now, with all that being said, am I saying, you should be rude, you should be an asshole? No, absolutely not. You should be kind. You should be respectful. You should treat her well. But you don't have to be a girl's friend first to get her to like you back. You don't have to go through all those hoops. You don't have to, put yourself in that submissive position where you're just her friend in order to get her to like you back, okay? You can just go straight for what you want. And the funny thing is, a lot of these guys who say, oh yeah, I was her friend first and that worked for me. You're just pretending to be a girl's friend so she'll like you, okay? And that's the crazy thing about all these guys who say you should be her friend first, is that it's like, you're not actually being her friend because you authentically want to be her friend. Like, if you authentically want to be friends with a girl and like you don't have attraction with her, whatever, that's cool. You can go do that. But if you're only friends with her because you think she's attractive and you're just using it to try to be more than friends, that's actually extremely manipulative, okay? You're basically faking being this girl's friend so you can get with her, okay? There's nothing like morally right about that, okay? It's like, just make your intentions clear, okay? Girls will appreciate it a lot more when you're just direct and you just say like, I want to take you on a date, let's go out sometime, compared to being a guy who's like slimy and, pretends to be your friend. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, hey, actually, I like you. And she'll be like, what the fuck? Well, then why have you just been acting like my friend for the last few months? So don't try to be her friend first, okay? And just go for what you want in your dating life. So anyways, bro, if you found this video helped you and you want to learn more about, improving yourself, building your dream dating life, becoming more attractive, you can check out my school community in the description where I teach all of this. It's honestly such an insane deal, like everything I'm giving in that course for the price. So yeah, just feel free to go check it out, if you found my free content has helped you out. And yeah, see you for the next video, bro.